Blast waves echoed across the Syrian desert Saturday evening as British and French fighter jets struck a suspected Islamic State arms facility. The joint operation targeted an underground cache north of Palmyra, believed to store weapons and explosives used by the extremist group that once ruled swaths of Syria until 2019. Britain's defense ministry said Typhoon FGR4 jets dropped precision-guided Paveway IV bombs into access tunnels leading down to the facility. A full assessment is underway, but initial reports indicate the target was successfully engaged. Officials emphasized that the area was free of civilian habitation before the strike, and all aircraft returned safely. Since 2014, the Royal Air Force has deployed both drones and manned aircraft to target Islamic fighters and strongholds, working alongside coalition partners to dismantle the group's network. Despite these efforts, the United Nations estimates that IS still maintains between 5,000 and 7,000 fighters across Syria and Iraq, highlighting the continuing threat to regional stability. In November, Syria, under the leadership of newly elected President Ahmed al-Sharaa, became the 90th nation to join the U.S.-led coalition aimed at eliminating remaining IS elements and stopping the flow of foreign fighters to the Middle East. Last month, the U.S. military launched what it called a massive strike on IS targets in Syria, following an ambush that killed 2 American soldiers and a civilian interpreter in Palmyra. The strike highlights ongoing Western efforts to prevent a revival of the militant group and to neutralize threats before they can spread further across the region. From the skies over Syria, the Allied air campaign continues, a stark reminder that vigilance against terrorism remains a global priority.
A deadly counter-terror operation unfolds before dawn in Turkey, while thousands of miles away, missiles light up the night sky in Africa. From a house raid near Istanbul to US cruise strikes in Nigeria, Islamic State is back in focus. Casualties, militants killed, and governments signaling zero tolerance. This is a story of simultaneous pressure on the same enemy across continents. The fragile calm of dawn in northwest Turkey was ripped apart by the deafening roar of gunfire. In Yalova province, a tense standoff erupted as police forces stormed a house harboring Islamic State militants. Bullets tore through the morning air, leaving a deadly toll in their wake. 6 militants lay lifeless, while 3 brave Turkish officers fell in the line of duty. Chaos and smoke filled the streets, as at least 8 more officers and a night guard were wounded, the echo of conflict marking the start of a tragic day. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya says the operation began around 2 a.m. and lasted more than 7 hours. Special forces from neighbouring Bursa were rushed in to support local units. Authorities say extreme caution was used because women and children were inside the house. 5 women and 6 children were safely evacuated before the raid intensified. Officials confirm all 6 militants killed were Turkish nationals. Prosecutors have launched a formal investigation, assigning multiple teams to examine the operation.
Bir adrese düzenlenen operasyon sırasında DAEŞ'li teröristler tarafından kahraman polislerimize ateş açılmıştır. Bu hain saldırı sonucunda maalesef 3 kahraman polisimiz şehit olmuştur. Saldırıda 8 polisimiz ve 1 bekçimiz de yaralanmıştır. Teröristlerin bulunduğu evde kadınlar ve çocukların olması nedeniyle operasyon büyük bir hassasiyetle yürütülmüştür. Adreste bulunan 5 kadın ve 6 çocuk sağ olarak tahliye edilmiştir. Çıkan çatışmada 6 terörist ölü olarak ele geçirilmiştir. Bu teröristler Türk vatandaşıdır.
The Yalova raid was not isolated. Turkish authorities say it was part of more than 100 simultaneous operations carried out across 15 provinces. The goal, dismantle Islamic State networks operating inside the country. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States struck Islamic State targets in northwest Nigeria. President Donald Trump announced the Christmas Day operation, saying ISIS militants had been targeting Christian communities. More than a dozen Tomahawk cruise missiles were fired from a US Navy ship, hitting 2 insurgent camps in Nigeria's Sokoto state. Shortly after Trump's announcement, the Pentagon released video showing missiles launching from the vessel. From house raids in Turkey to missile strikes in Africa, the message is unmistakable. Governments say Islamic State remains a global threat, and the response is coordinated, relentless, and deadly.